Okay, this is question 10 of the WJEC Additional Maths 2015 paper. Now it says here you're not allowed to use a calculator to answer this question, even though the whole paper is calculated, so you must show all your workings, okay? Can't use your calculator to work out sine 30. Use fractions and surds to show that sine 30 squared plus cos 30 squared equals 1. You must show your calculations. Now I'll look further down into the question in part B, and there's a similar question using tan of 45 and sine 60. Now, as soon as you see sine, cos and tan, but these angles 30, 60, 45, it should remind you that it's all about those special triangles. Okay, this one, because it's talking about 30 degrees, it's about that special triangle, which I'm going to do a little sketch on the side. 60 there, 30 there, 90 there, so 30, 60, 90. Now you need to remember the lengths of this. Now if you remember, this is created from a 2 by 2 by 2 equilateral triangle. So the hypotenuse is 2. When we draw that line to cut in half the 2 by 2 by 2, it makes this 1. And then using Pythag, we've got 2 squared, take away 1 squared, which is 4, take away 1 is just 3. So this is the square root of 3. Now you need to learn those three things. And knowing where it comes from helps you learn the three lengths that go with that special triangle. Now we're going to use these three lengths to work out what sine 30 is and what cos 30 is. Well, we know sine is opposite of a hypotenuse. Well, if we're looking at 30, that's the opposite. This is obviously the hypotenuse. And that's the adjacent when we're looking at 30 degrees. So the sine of 30 degrees is 1 over 2, is a half. The cos of 30 is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, is root 3 over 2. So I know the value of sine 30 and cos 30 using my special triangle. Now I need to substitute them into there and work out my answer leaving it in surd form, probably. Okay, so sine 30 is a half. So I have a half squared plus cos 30 is root 3 over 2 squared equals 1. So now we've got to work this out. So a half squared is a half times a half. Well, that's a quarter. When we square these two, you go square the top and square the bottom. So square root of 3 squared is 3, and 2 squared is 4, equals 1. So we are now showing that a quarter plus 3/4 equals 1. Yes, that is true. So we've used fractions, and that is a surd because it has root 3 in there. So we've done what they've asked. We've shown that sine 30 squared plus cos 30 squared equals 1. Okay, now we're going to move on to part B, which is similar, but this time it's involving the 45-90 special triangle as well as our 30-60 triangle. Use fractions and surds to evaluate what that is. So I'm going to do two little triangles here now. I'm going to do my 30-60-90, 2, 1, root 3, like above, and also I'm going to do my 45-90. Now this one, both of these are 1 because isosceles, and 1 squared plus 1 squared is 2, so this is the square root of 2. Okay, you need to remember those lengths for that triangle as well. Right, so using both these triangles, I'm going to write down the tan of 45, the sine of 60, and the tan of 60. So for tan of 45, any one of these 45 degree angles is okay. The tan is the adjacent. Tan of 45 is opposite over adjacent. So if I'm looking at this 45, that's my opposite. That would be my adjacent. That's 1 over 1. Which is 1. So tan of 45 is equal to 1. Now sine 60 from the other one. Oops. Sine 60 is opposite of hypotenuse. Now if we're looking at 60, that's my opposite. That's always the hypotenuse. The opposite and adjacent change depending on which angle you're looking at, if you remember. So that's opposite 60, that's next to 60, so that's adjacent. Opposite is root 3, and hypotenuse is 2. So the sine of 60 is root 3 over 2. The tan of 60, again opposite over adjacent, using the 30, 60, 90 triangle because we've got to look at the 60 degree angle. Opposite is root 3. Adjacent is 1. And root 3 over 1 is just root 3. So I have my three values now. I have tan 45, I have sine 60, and I have tan 60. Now I'm going to substitute all those three values into that expression at the top. So 5 times the tan of 45. Tan of 45 was 1. Plus 2 times the sine of 60. Sine of 60 was root 3 over 2. Plus the tan of 60. And the tan of 60 was root 3. So I got these three things instead of the original expression. Well, that gives me 5. 2 times root 3 over 2 is root 3. So that times it by 2 cancels out that half. Plus root 3. And then we can collect the two root 3's together like we do algebra. It's like x plus x is 2x. Root 3 plus root 3 is 2 root 3. So it's 5 plus 2 root 3. That is our final answer. So we have used fractions and surds to evaluate that expression using our special triangles. Thank you very much.